Welcome to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm your host, Gina Jordan. Coming up in this episode of Movies You Want to Watch.
Everything is not so black and white.
It's been 2 years since Twilight actress Kristen Stewart's face was plastered all over the headlines. Stewart survived a scandalous affair and public breakup with longtime Twilight co-star and boyfriend Robert Pattinson.
I'm never a huge fan of doing anything overtly scripted.
Today, Kristen is single and back from a self-prescribed hiatus, starring in a film role that has everyone talking.
Do you like it here in Guantanamo Bay?
I don't know. It's not as black and white as they said it was going to be.
We go one-on-one with Stewart, who revealed why she chose Camp X-Ray as her big return to Hollywood.
We were all there so genuinely.
And Camp X-Ray director Peter Sattler revealed how he convinced Stewart to star in his directorial debut.
She really likes to do movies that scare her a little bit.
Then Movies You Want to Watch talks to Stewart's latest co-star, Peyman Moaadi, who described what it was like meeting the Twilight star for the very first time.
The first time we met was on Skype.
Plus, Stewart may not be dating Pattinson, but Kristen told Movies You Want to Watch who she plans to get cozy with this holiday season.
I'm very excited about the holiday season.
That's all coming up right now in this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. Before they hit the theater,
Do you want a cup of me with Koofy?
before they win an Oscar, watch a sneak peek at Hollywood's latest films and the talent who stars in them.
I was drooling a lot last year.
I'm very badly behaved.
It's Movies You Want to Watch with me, Gina Jordan.
Please let me be in this movie.
You know you wanna.
You know you wanna.
You know you wanna.
Welcome to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm Gina Jordan, coming at you from the historic Cinema Village Theater right here in New York City. The first movie you want to watch stars Kristen Stewart, who's making a comeback after escaping the Hollywood scene post that Pattinson breakup drama. Actress Stewart's been a fixture on the big screen since age 11, when she starred alongside Jodie Foster in Panic Room.
What we want is in that room.
They're coming in here, aren't they?
No, they can't. I told you they can't get in here.
Stewart went on to star in several films, including Adventureland and The Runaways, where she portrayed the legendary Joan Jett.
The Runaways have the most chance of any group I've seen.
The 24-year-old beauty became an instant international superstar for her beloved role as Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga. The vampiress garnered Hollywood's attention, and fans showered her with 2 People's Choice Awards.
Say it.
Vampire.
The hit saga became a 5-part movie installment in 2008 with the international cult favorite Twilight.
I'd rather die than to stay away from you.
Following the international success of Twilight came the sequel, New Moon.
Oh, paper cut.
In 2010, Stewart again reprised her role as Bella Swan in the 3rd installment, Eclipse, with co-star and, at the time, rumored boyfriend Robert Pattinson.
You know, I've got an English final. I gotta focus.
Their intense connection on screen continued off screen. And in 2010, after relentless media speculation, the couple eventually gave in and revealed their romantic relationship.
The baby making scene. It had to be recut because you went crazy or something.
The fairy tale Hollywood couple seemed to have it all until 2012. Us Weekly revealed a cover story entitled Kristen Cheats on Rob, with a revealing photo of the actress locking lips with her Snow White and the Huntsman director, Rupert Sanders. As quickly as Stewart became a world-renowned character, the young actress took a fall both personally and professionally.
Boy, you are better off. Kick her to the curb.
With homewrecker headlines, fans lashed out at Stewart for cheating on Rob with a married man and father of 2. Director Sanders' wife, Liberty Ross, eventually filed for divorce. While Kristen and Rob tried to rekindle their romance, it seemed the damage had already been done. Kristen and Rob officially called it quits just months after the news broke. With all the negative publicity and a public breakup, Kristen opted to take a break from Hollywood and acting.
Yeah, I hadn't worked in a long time. I hadn't worked in like 2 years. Not intentionally. I just did. I wanted to take some time.
Stewart has had some time to heal. It's been almost 2 years, and now Bella is back on the big screen. But this time, Kristen is determined to show fans a completely different side.
What are you gonna do, Cole?
Movies You Want to Watch met up with the young starlet, looking phenomenal in Jay Mendel, at a special premiere screening inside the Crosby Street Hotel to promote her latest film project, Camp X-Ray. Still to come.
How did you end up here?
Movies You Want to Watch talks to Kristen about her comeback role that's getting some major buzz. Plus, Camp X-Ray director Peter Sattler talks candidly about what it was like to work with the superstar.
Every time Kristen and Peyman would do a scene together, it was just magic.
And later, Miss Stewart reveals the one person she plans to celebrate with this holiday season. Don't move. Movies You Want to Watch will be right back.
Just point.
With nowhere to look,
Just move.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just
how
point.
much I still
Just move.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the odds
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of Movies You Want to Watch is presented by LG. Welcome back to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm your host, Gina Jordan. 2 years after the last Twilight film was released, Kristen Stewart is back on the big screen, this time as Private Amy Cole in the indie film Camp X-Ray.
Yeah, I hadn't worked in a long time. I hadn't worked in like 2 years. Not intentionally. I just did. I wanted to take some time and come back with a vengeance and do something that I really loved. And Peter is really a remarkable facilitator of genuine experience. He doesn't want anything that's BS. Like, he genuinely wants to tell a story that everyone who he's very good at choosing wants to, help him tell.
Camp X-Ray writer and first-time director Peter Sattler hit the jackpot when Twilight star Kristen Stewart signed on to his directorial debut.
Kristen brings the money. She doesn't need the money. I mean, look, this movie was a labor of love for everyone. It's a small film, and as I said, we're gonna go make this thing. We got her the script, and she signed on, and that gave the movie a lot of credit. The first-time director, when she says, "Oh, I like this script. This guy seems cool. I want to do this movie," that lets other actors like Peyman say, "Hey, this project might be cool. I love the script. Let me jump on too." And everyone kind of starts to snowball a little bit. Kristen was obviously the center of that. She's the first step. She took that kind of leap and kind of started it rolling.
It was Sattler's dark and daunting script that drew Stewart in.
She told me she just really responded to the script. She read the script and she understood this girl, and he told me she wanted to play it. Also, she said something interesting to me, that she really likes to do movies that scare her a little bit. If she's not on the edge and challenging and pushing herself, she's not happy, yeah. And so that's why she was like, this movie scares me. I don't have any, I have almost no lines. It's very intense. It's about Guantanamo Bay. I'm on screen every minute. It's a little scary role for her, but that's why she wanted to do it. It's a small little movie, and she was like, no, I'm going. I want to do this thing.
In Camp X-Ray, Stewart portrays Private Amy Cole, a young woman thrown out of her element when she's assigned to be a guard at Guantanamo Bay Correctional Camp.
Kristen Stewart plays a young female soldier, joins the army, wants to do something important with her life and, go do something important. And she ends up getting stationed at Guantanamo Bay, and while she's there, one of the detainees that she's guarding keeps trying to talk to her, and eventually they strike up this kind of strange relationship because they're both of them are stuck in this room all day, the guards and the detainees. And so eventually they kind of just start to talk, and there's a bunch of weird ups and downs because they're on different sides of this war, but at the same time, as I said, they're both in the same situation.
Do not let them get inside your head.
The point of the film is to look at these people as just that, as people, as human beings. And with Guantanamo especially, there's a lot of question. It's kind of a gray area about who's guilty and who's not guilty down there. And the film kind of tiptoes around that a little bit, but ultimately, no matter what these people did, guilty or not, they're all humans, and that's the whole message of the film, is to really look at people as people.
When it came to directing Kristen as Private Amy Cole, it was less about her lines and more about conveying a feeling without words.
Kristen has a really incredible range as an actress. She is talented in all these different ways. This film is a very subtle performance. You know, like I said, she's a guard. She's not supposed to talk to this guy. She's supposed to keep a tough exterior, yet somehow she's still able to convey this vulnerability and this kind of sadness inside of her, and this angst that she slowly starts to go through, and you can see in her eyes, not through any words. You know, with an actor has lines to say, it's easy when you're just saying a line about what you're feeling, but if you don't have those lines, it's such a challenge. And that's why I think her performance is really remarkable, because she does all these things, but she doesn't have any tricks or any crutches, any actor tricks to rely on.
When it came to directing Stewart, Sattler admitted she took the reins and made it easy to sit back and watch her work.
Kristen, as an actress, really is all about finding real, authentic moments. You know, she loves just having that moment that feels real. And so we would obviously talk a lot about the character and establish a baseline of how this character carries herself, what she's feeling. And then in each scene, of course, we would talk about the flow of, like, this moment goes up here and then this turns into that. But for her as an actress, she always wanted to keep things spontaneous. So the biggest thing in terms of directing her was finding ways to keep the takes from getting stale. You have to do so many takes in a film. And so it was always about finding little tricks. What Kristen responded to well was not directing her, but honestly getting the actor she's playing against to throw her for a loop, like change a line, just little stuff, just so that she can, like, snap back into the reality, because she lives in that moment, you know, just that real, raw, super, like, honest moment.
When you're working with talent like Kristen Stewart, it can be hard to pick a favorite scene, but Sattler admitted one unscripted moment stole the show.
There's this one moment where she's kind of on the tail end of her journey, and she's starting to get really disillusioned with her life in Guantanamo. And it's the weight of that world is starting to bear down on her. And she does this little salute at the end, and she was supposed to mouth this kind of military chant, and she didn't. And she's like, you're going to do this? And he's like, no, I got an idea for this. And then she just did it, and I was just like, oh, wow, that's brilliant.
Sattler knew he picked the perfect cast from the very start.
Every time Kristen and Peyman would do a scene together, it was just magic. I mean, the second the three of us all met, it was just like the chemistry between them and the three of us was just instant.
Peyman Moaadi, who plays Ali Amir in Camp X-Ray, felt a strong connection to the director that lasted even after the camera stopped rolling.
Peter Sattler was the best person. He still is one of my best friends.
Sattler gave Peyman complete creative autonomy to make the character his own.
The thing about him was he told me, whatever you want to do, just do it. I want to watch that. I don't want to tell you what to do.
The New York native actor may not be new to the film scene, but he admitted this was his very first independent film.
I was born here in Queens, and when I was 5, I left this country. So I was traveling a lot back and forth here. And this was the third movie which I did in United States. It wasn't my first film. But it was the most indie film which I did and which I like the best. You know, this kind of stuff, I like it a lot. You have to think a lot. You have to search a lot. You have to go through books, websites, talk with people. And I love that idea very much. It was very, very, very easy, and one of the easiest jobs which I did in the matter of being in the crew.
So what's it like to work with one of young Hollywood's most famous actresses, Kristen Stewart? Well, Peyman said it was a breeze.
I was very comfortable with her, and I can say you that this comes from her part mostly. The first time we met was on Skype, and we talked like 1 hour on Skype together. The second time we met in Peter Sattler's house, and we talked about the film a lot. I was thinking that I know this girl for 10 years at least. She was very friendly, very supportive. She knew I'm a newcomer. She knew the circumstances, and after 2-3 sessions of working and rehearsals, I was very, very, very much comfortable.
The duo's off-screen chemistry flowed on screen as the two formed an unlikely friendship.
When I was reading the script, I didn't know if he's really guilty or not. The audience must like this guy, and so that's the beautiful part about it. When you're playing a terrorist, which people must love him and like him and, you know, sympathize with him and empathize with him, I think that's a very challenging role.
It's left entirely ambiguous what he has done in his life, what he hasn't done, why he's there, why he's being persecuted. And so the question remains in our minds always, as Cole, my character, and the audience is never really quite sure. But what remains is, like, there's a fundamental commonality between human beings that is never going to go anywhere. And you can be spoon-fed every opinion and every fervent feeling of patriotism, yet you don't know everything. I hate to say this over and over because it's a line in the movie, but everything is not so black and white. And I say that about most things in life.
I don't know. It's not as black and white as they said it was going to be.
Still to come, we go one-on-one with Stewart, who revealed why she chose Camp X-Ray as her big return to Hollywood.
We were all there so genuinely.
Plus, Stewart may not be dating Pattinson, but Kristen told Movies You Want to Watch who she plans to get cozy with this holiday season.
I'm very excited about the holiday season.
Don't move. Movies You Want to Watch will be right back.
Just point.
With nowhere to look,
Just move.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just point.
how much I still
Just move.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the odds
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of Movies You Want to Watch is presented by LG. Welcome back to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm your host, Gina Jordan. Fans of actress Kristen Stewart know it's been 2 years since she starred on the big screen. Even several super fanatics waited for more than 24 hours outside the Crosby Hotel just to catch the young starlet attend her New York City film premiere, promoting a dramatic role that has everyone talking.
What is that? Hey.
If you call your radio, you're not going to make it.
I'm never a huge fan of doing anything overtly scripted. I think, my favorite thing is really letting things live so we can, as a group, learn from it rather than trying to accomplish something that you've predetermined. And I felt that way throughout this entire process. Everything was really without expectation, what it was going to be at any given moment. We were all there so genuinely that no one really could do wrong.
Yeah, Stewart may be back on the Hollywood scene.
We camped out for a week in LA.
But that won't stop her from spending some quality time with one very special person this holiday season. Do you have any traditions specifically that you like to do with your family when you're not working in front of all these cameras?
I just want to be home. I don't know. I just want to see my grandma.
Are you close with your grandma?
Yeah.
That's right. When it comes to the holiday season, Stewart admitted this year she's keeping it simple.
She's my grandma. She's rad. But yeah, no specific traditions. I'm very excited about the holiday season. I love the holidays.
Does Grandma have any special tradition that you have to experience when you go home? You're like, why didn't you make this?
She'll probably fall asleep on the couch. Maybe we'll play dominoes.
The next movie you want to watch is Cold in July. Our team recently hit the Sundance Film Festival and went one-on-one with the star of Jim Mickles' dark thriller, Michael C. Hall. Brace yourselves, everyone's favorite serial killer is back, and this time he's on the big screen.
You got any family?
My daddy in Huntsville prison. He just got parole.
Michael C. Hall, a.k.a. Dexter, stars in Cold in July, a dark thriller where he plays Richard Dane, a home invasion victim turned vigilante.
Cops are up to something. They use my family as bait. I want to know why.
Movies You Want to Watch sat down with Hall to talk movies, mullets, and mom jeans. I have the pleasure of sitting here with Michael C. Hall, Sundance 2014. It's the 30th annual Sundance, which is pretty cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cold in July. Thank you for doing this today,
Sure.
for sitting down with us. First of all, we want to go right off the bat. We enjoy the 80s, being in the 80s, Texas. You're in a relationship and have a son with Vanessa Shaw. Tell us a little bit about your character.
My character, Richard Dane, is kind of unremarkable guy. A family man. He has a son with his wife Anne, played by Vanessa, and runs a frame shop in a small town of Laborde, Texas, in East Texas. And the movie starts with he and his wife waking up to the sound of an intruder. He grabs a gun out of the closet and, without meaning to, shoots and kills him. And things sort of just evolve or devolve or spiral into greater and greater degrees of chaos from there.
And it's a total 180 from Dexter, because Dexter
wanted to kill this gentleman actually feels remorse.
Yeah, he feels remorse. He didn't mean to kill this person. He didn't feel any inherent need to kill this person. Actually, I finished Dexter and went straight to Kingston, New York to shoot this movie, and it was nice because I was left when Dexter ended with a feeling of like, what have I done? And I was able to, you know, kind of revisit the idea of murder from a more everyday perspective. It was a fantastic like epilogue to my Dexter experience to go do this movie.
You play the victim.
Right. The father of the guy I've killed, played by Sam Shepard, is out for revenge. It's difficult to talk about the movie because it hinges on the element of surprise. So everything I almost reveal feels like possibly a spoiler.
What did you enjoy playing more, being Sam's ally in the film or his enemy?
I enjoyed both, but I think ultimately I enjoyed those moments when you know, I had information that he didn't have, and I had to really work to convince him that I was on his side, or at least not against him. And I think will forever remain one of the thrills of my career as an actor to work with Sam Shepard. And you know, there's something sort of Shepard-esque about the world of this movie, and certainly some of the scenes I played with him, and it was a pretty heady experience to, you know, get on what was basically a proscenium set and throw food at each other, and it felt like a Sam Shepard play.
We heard that you were so into the character, you showed up on set in a mullet? Is that true?
When we finished Dexter, there's a scene at the end of that where I had to have a beard made because I didn't have time to grow one. And I was reading and rereading and thinking about the script for Cold in July and the time period and my ideal hairstyle, and I realized I didn't have time to grow the mullet that I envisioned. And so asked the guy who was making my beard if he could also just make a little hairpiece that I could put in the back so that I would have the mullet, and I actually ended up naming it Richard Dane because without it I had no character.
Did you feel like when you put the mullet on that it got you right into character?
Yeah, it really did. It was transformative. I joked with Jim because I also had the mustache, the sort of cheesy mustache. This is basically a movie about a guy who decided to start growing a mustache 2.5 weeks ago.
Are you trying to continue to grow one now?
No, this is just laziness.
The big screen isn't the only place you'll find Michael C. Hall this year. The actor who got his start on Broadway returned to the stage in the Tony Award-winning play Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
You have a Broadway show?
Hall plays Hedwig, a cross-dressing gay man from Berlin who comes to the United States with visions of living the American dream. Hall sings, dances, and even gives one lucky audience member a perfectly raunchy lap dance during the 90-minute non-stop show. Whether Hall's playing a mullet-toting vigilante or a glammed-out gay man, he's always at the center of the media.
How do you deal with, I mean, I was literally reading today, you know, Michael C. Hall's picking up his dog. Michael C. Hall picking up his dry cleaning. He's picking up a coffee. He's with his girlfriend. How do you deal with that? Is that something that, you know what, I signed up for it, or is it challenging for you?
I guess to a degree. I feel like it's more challenging when it affects people around me, when it affects my girlfriend or other friends or family. You know, it goes with the territory for me, but. And I'm excited. Any sort of publicity for the dog, I'm happy about because she's pretty adorable. But
what's her name? What's her name?
Salamander.
Cool. What kind of dog?
She's a mutt.
Cool.
Part unicorn, part pony. I'm not going to stop walking the dog. That I'll say. You know, if it's a story to somebody that I continue to walk my dog, that's really their problem.
You can catch Michael C. Hall in A Movie You Want to Watch, Cold in July, or on Broadway from now through January 18th in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Take a look at this inspirational segment, Life You Want to Celebrate.
We had over 1,000 people here today, and we raised over $100,000.
700 plus VIPs recently hit Mineola, Long Island for a memorable night on the town at the Jericho Terrace. Guests dance to New York's most dangerous big band and dine on a 5-star smorgasbord of more than 50 restaurants, while they helped raise $100,000 to benefit the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Tony LeBron, my co-chair, his father was diagnosed with leukemia, and he was only given a year to live. But because of research, he was given another 15 years.
The annual fundraiser, emceed by me, Gina Jordan, was hosted by Harry Sapiti and Tony Lombrano, who honored Senator Jack M. Martins and Michael Costa. Yet one of the most celebrated attendees of the evening was a cancer survivor, brave enough to share his very own miracle story.
My name is Frank Rendina. I'm Director of Facilities for New York City Police Department, and I am a cancer survivor.
New York native Frank Rendina, a dedicated husband and father of 3, was diagnosed just last year with a rare cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
I was fatigued, but I thought it was just because I was getting heavier, I was getting older. That's a natural thing to think, and so I really didn't pay too much attention to it.
Initially, Rendina didn't even recognize the symptoms. Eventually, he broke down and went to the doctor.
They diagnosed me with the bleeding ulcer, and they just treated me for ulcers.
After being seriously misdiagnosed, Rendina had an epiphany that came to him in the form of a dream.
It was maybe about a week of taking the pills where then I had the dream with my mom. She died of cancer as well. And she told me to go see an oncologist, hematologist, that I didn't fight, but you should. So I went on a search looking for oncologists.
Frank saw a slew of specialists before he found the one that would change his life forever.
Dr. Matazar saw me, and he had diagnosed me with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, mantle cell, and I was in stage 4 at that time. After I was diagnosed, I asked my doctor, what would happen if I didn't follow this, treatment. I would have been dead in 9 months to a year.
Rendina agreed to an experimental treatment with hope it would help fight his cancer.
It was a NORDAC treatment, it's called. It was a trial of 3 different kind of applications of medication, and that would span over the course of a year of treatment.
After a treacherous 6-month-long battle, Frank's cancer miraculously fell into remission.
Eating the lasagna for the first time where I was able to taste it, that was the best.
Frank's main priority was to fight the disease and live to walk his daughter Nicole down the aisle on her wedding day.
When you're given a limited amount of time, when you said, well, you're not, it's going to be a year, 9 months, or you don't know how this thing's going to end out, and the only thing I was thinking about was being able to walk my daughter down the aisle. I didn't really care about anything else. I didn't care if my projects didn't get finished. I didn't care if, I had more money. I didn't care about a new car. I didn't care about anything. I only cared about walking my daughter down the aisle. She held back the wedding, and then we were able to enjoy that. So it was a great day.
But she came home today with a ring on her hand.
Frank didn't just walk. He danced the night away alongside his daughter Nicole and his entire family.
I live and die for my kids.
To give a big warm welcome for Frank Rendina, please. Frank, will you please come up? Now, Frank works for the NYPD, so you better watch it. Hi, Frank. Frank here is a fighter, by the way, okay? And his story is an amazing, inspiring miracle. He is now a cancer survivor. And Frank, we wanted to give back to you, thanks to our show, The Wanna, and thanks to our sponsor, LG, who wanted to give our Miracle of the Week, Frank Rendina, this gift right here. Frank, may I have a drum roll? This is for Frank, Miracle of the Week. Ta-da! It's a 47-inch LG Smart TV for smart people.
Thank you, LG. Thank you.
Frank Rendina's story is a true miracle, a life you want to celebrate. That's going to do it for this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm Gina Jordan, signing off from the Cinema Village in Greenwich Village, Manhattan. We look forward to seeing you next time. You know you wanna. This week's Celebrity Selfie Shot is brought to you by LG. Life's good.
Here we go, selfie. Michael C. Hall. Here, you want to try?
What am I hitting?
This one.
Too many buttons, all right. Ready?
Look like wax
3.
figures.
Get it.
Here we go, selfie shot with Cold and July cast. Smile. they pigs?
Pigs, farts.
You didn't give us your fart story.
Farts. Potato sound.